former Illinois Governor, my friend Rod Blagojevich. Governor, it's so great to see you again. You and I went into Belgrade together, my goodness, years ago. But did you ever think there'd be another war zone? And it's Chicago now, Governor, and you know it.
Well, that's right, Rita. We were back in Serbia back in 1999 when Bill Clinton was bombing Serbia. We went into a war zone to free 3 U.S. soldiers. I'm living in a war zone now here in Chicago, and it is a war zone. Consider this. There have been 147,899 crimes reported in Chicago this year. That's nearly 600 crimes a day. There have been 278 homicides in Chicago in 249 days. That's better than a murder a day. 80% of the murder victims are Black. 95% of the murder victims are Black and Latino. Carjackings are going crazy in the city. We have brazen retail thieves blatantly going into stores and just taking things. This is a city that needs help. And when I think about our governor, Governor Pritzker, turning down President Trump's offer of help, when I think about our mayor, Mayor Johnson, turning down President Trump's offer of help, it reminds me a little bit about, let's say your neighbor's house was on fire and the local fire department couldn't put the fire out. Wouldn't you want your neighbor or you to call the town next to you and ask that fire chief to send some help so you can put the fire out? Even if you don't like the fire chief, you don't let the house burn down. That's what's happening here. And Pritzker is playing a dangerous, dangerous form of politics, because what's happening is people are dying literally every single day, and all these crimes are happening every single day. And our governor, whose responsibility it is to provide public safety, refuses the help of the President of the United States to do in Chicago what he's been doing in Washington, D.C., and that is reducing crime and basically bringing murder rates down to zero. So why is it our governor won't do it? He's got his own agenda, and it's really disgraceful, and it's really immoral.
You know, it's also stunning, too, to see some of his verbiage, Governor, because I sit there and I listen to him. He's like, what crime? Governor Pritzker even went as far as to say there is no emergency. You know the numbers better than anybody. Watch this.
The president's absurd characterizations do not match what is happening on the ground here. He has no idea what he's talking about. There is no emergency that warrants deployment of troops.
How dangerous is it when you hear that rhetoric? And I just saw, by the way, in the last few hours also, Governor, that what they are doing is they're putting fences around some of the federal facilities to block law enforcement from coming to those facilities, where it's almost alternate universe.
It is. Our governor has it upside down. He just said there's no emergency in Chicago. I would just use those numbers again. 147,899 crimes reported in Chicago this year alone. That's not an emergency. 278 people murdered in Chicago this year in the first 249 days. That's not an emergency. It may not be to him. He has a security detail, something I had when I was governor. The mayor has a security detail. So maybe they're not worried about crime against them and their families. But they were both hired by the people to represent the people and work for the people. And the first duty of government is public safety. And this is a blatant breach of their responsibility. It's really almost treasonous when you think about how they are not just not helping, but they're actually trying to block efforts to reduce crime and literally save lives, and particularly Black and brown lives, the lives the Democratic Party claim they're for.
You know, it's interesting. I just saw recently also, Governor Blagojevich, that Governor Pritzker did send the National Guard in during the Democratic National Convention. That's extraordinary. So he sent it in. He saw a reason when it was politically expedient for him. But now that it's helpful to the community, he's not. What does this say to you? Is this because it is, okay, he's looking for higher office, this is his plan? And where is this going to go? Because what concerns me also, Governor, is I listened to the rhetoric of Brandon Johnson. One of the things he said recently was, rise up. We're expecting you all to defend your city. How is that not incitement? I worry what's going to happen when, and it looks like almost any moment, maybe national officials go in, whether it's ICE, whether it's National Guard, and then you have that rhetoric coming from the mayor and from the governor. That's very dangerous.
It was very dangerous, and it's shocking, and it's stunning when you think about, and breathtaking when you think about how grossly irresponsible that is. The idea that you would actually try to resist law enforcement, whether wherever it comes from, in its effort to stop crime and fight gangbangers, tells me that Brandon Johnson, our mayor, and Governor Pritzker, our governor, are on the side of gangbangers and criminals. They're on the side of gangsters and murderers and rapists and illegal immigrants who come here in large numbers to commit crimes, who are bringing fentanyl into Chicago and into our country, and coming to Chicago and Illinois in particular because this is a sanctuary city, so they can actually find sanctuary here. And yet our mayor and our governor, Governor Pritzker, refuse to provide sanctuary for the people who elected them to protect them. And not only do they refuse to provide sanctuary for the people who elected them, they're going to fight to block efforts to provide sanctuary and keep those people safe, our people safe, so that Pritzker and Johnson can protect the gangbangers and the criminals and even the illegal immigrants who've come here who are breaking the law, who are part of gangs that are working in conjunction with the local gangs here in Chicago.
It is really an extraordinary moment. And of course, most importantly, the people of Chicago, they deserve to be safe. You understand it all too well. And I always love having you here. Governor, really great to see you, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. Can I say one last thing?
Absolutely.
Quick? What this city and state needs is a new mayor, a new governor, and what this country needs is a new Democratic Party. Because this Democratic Party is ridiculously out of control, and it's completely out of touch with everyday, ordinary Americans.
Yeah, no, it's true. I have many Democratic friends who say they do not recognize this Democratic Party. That is for sure. Just for the good of America, we need some sanity. Absolutely. Governor, thank you very much. Have a great rest of the weekend. Good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks, Rita.
Thank you very much.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.